Hey guys, thank you very much for joining. Today's topic will be, it's the 14th of February, it's Valentine's Day. So today's topic will be about the partnership visa. And I'll do a small change to all the different live streams I've done before. And I will be always asking questions. And then I will be providing answers to those questions. So it might be a bit more interactive or structured or whatever. Amir Khuneko, thank you very much for the likes and hearts and the support. Thank you very much. As always, guys, I'm live on Facebook and live on YouTube at the same time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I will either answer them right away during the live stream, or at the end of the live stream, I'll keep the questions for the end. So Lentan, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sandeep, hello, hi. Thank you very much for joining as well. So let's go into that. So let's start with the first question. What is a partnership visa? Partnership visa is a form of a long-term residence permit, or actually temporary residence permit for family members of EU citizens. So if you are, let's say, dating an EU citizen, if you are a non-EU citizen and you're dating an EU citizen and you want to live together in Prague, this is a special type of visa you can apply for and get, and has many advantages. So, second question. Who is a partner of an EU citizen? So, in the perspective of partnership visa, there are two types. First is a close family member, and second is a distant family member. So the close family member is just a spouse or kids, or in some rare cases also parents. I'm now talking mainly about the partnership visa. So that means that also partners who are not married but are just dating and can prove that they've been in a long-term serious relationship together, they are also or can be also considered family members of EU citizens. Tomoliu, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm happy, guys, that you are joining me. So thank you very much for that. I'm happy I'm useful and I provide some value. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask right away during the stream. So third question, where do you apply for the partnership visa? So for the partnership visa, you cannot apply for it through a Czech embassy. You always need to apply at the territory of the Czech Republic, and that's usually done at the Ministry of the Interior, the branch responsible for the part of the Czech Republic where you live. So for example, if you live in Prague 4, you apply at the Ministry of the Interior in Prague 4. If you live in Brno, you apply in Brno. I believe there is only one Ministry of the Interior. It was in Tuřanka. Now it was moved to Sale, I believe. So in there, if you're in other cities, you always need to go to the branch of the MOI, which is responsible for the area where you live. You cannot apply through the Czech embassy. So now, the most, I don't know the word in English, just the broadest topic, let's say. And that is, what are the documents needed for the partnership visa? So I'll first go through them one by one real quick, and then I'll always tell you something about each of the points in details. So first, document application form. Second, passport. Then 2 passport size photos, proof of accommodation, documents on the purpose of your stay. That means documents proving your relationship to an EU citizen. Then proof of monthly income. That's a new thing from August 2021, and that only applies to distant family members. Czech health insurance, power of attorney. That applies if you, for example, want us move to Prague to take care of your process and keep an eye on the process, then we will need to have a power of attorney for that. And administrative fee, which you pay to the Ministry of the Interior. At this time, it's 200 crowns, which need to be paid in kolky, in the revenue stamps. So those were the documents needed for the partnership visa, just a list of them. And now I'll go through them one by one and always tell you a bit more about those. Okay, application form. There is a new application form. It's kind of simple. It's both in Czech and English, so it's pretty easy to fill it in. Agnello Andrews, thank you very much for joining, and you've changed your photo, so it looks good. I cannot see much, but you've changed the photo. Thank you. Hi, mate. Okay, so application form. The only thing is that if you download it from the website of the ministry and you try to fill it in online in some PDF reader or whatever, then there are some problems that, for example, if you need to fill in an address in the Czech Republic and address in your home country. And if you fill in one of these, it will always rewrite the other one. So there are stupid things like that. So it's easiest to just print it out and fill it in hand. Second, passport, nothing too complicated there. It just needs to be valid at the moment when you're submitting the application. Should ideally have some blank pages as well if you want to get the bridging visa to be able to stay in the Czech Republic. But besides that, nothing too complicated there. 2 passport size photos. Those are the photos you can use for getting a passport. If you're getting them in the Czech Republic, which is recommended, always make sure that you don't make them in the photo booths in metro stations, okay? Because it used to be accepted by the ministry in the past, but now they don't like it because they often come out blurry or I don't know, not a good quality. So always go to some place like Photo Škoda or somewhere, some like photo studio where they can do like a proper photos. Because it's stupid. We've actually seen that the ministry made problems because of the photo. Like all the documents were fine, but they requested a new photo, which is like a stupid thing. It's the least important document, but yeah, be careful about it. So just get them in some professional studio. Then proof of accommodation depends on what you will submit as a proof of accommodation, because there are 2 ways basically for any type of visa or residence permit. Either you will submit your lease agreement, or you can submit like the proof of accommodation form, which is just signed by your landlord, and yeah, you submit that. Each of them has like pluses and minuses. The lease agreement can, for example, be used also as a proof of your relationship to the ministry. On the other hand, if you submit the lease agreement, the ministry will see how much you're paying for rent, and maybe your monthly income will need to be higher. So there are different things that we usually discuss this in when we're helping with the documents. We check the particular case and discuss what will be the best approach. Then the most important part of the partnership visa is the documents on the purpose of your stay. So basically you need to convince, if you're not married, if you're married, then you just submit the marriage certificate. It needs to be apostilled, super legalized, translated into Czech, all this, but it's just one document basically. If you're not married, if you're just partners, you need to convince the ministry that you're in a long-term serious relationship similar to a marriage. And how you do that is kind of up to you, but from our expertise, like 10 years of being in the business, we came up with these documents. So first would be a statement of you, like you, because the person who will be making the decision about your case will never see you. Okay, they will never get in touch with you. So they will be basing their decision just on the documents you submit. So if you just submit all the other documents, but you don't submit any kind of story of your relationship, they will have no idea who are you, how long have you been together, what's the story, you know? So you should make it simple for the ministry, for the officers, and you should prepare some kind of statement about your relationship, how you met, when it was, how the relationship developed since then. If you live together, you have common friends, you travel together, where, how, all these things. You should also get similar statements from your family members and friends. So, for example, your parents can write a statement saying that they know that you've been together and that you're really happy, all this. Similar about your friends or co-workers or colleagues, depending on the English you choose, and things like that. Then plenty of photos of you together where you look as a couple. So obviously where you hug, where you kiss each other, where you're almost naked on a beach, or you're visiting, I don't know, cinema, theater, exhibitions, galleries, whatever. Just, or also where you're having dinners with your families, friends, all this, just to make sure that you prove that your relationship is intense, long-term, and serious. Then any other documents that can prove your relationship. So usually we use lease agreements, joint bank accounts, transfers between each of you, like between each other, all this. So as many documents as you can think of, We have some more we use, but it also depends on your specific case and how long have you been together and what can you prove, like travel tickets to different destinations and all this. Yeah, so those were the documents about the relationship. Then I have a couple more, but I will answer them in the next questions I'll be doing. Then proof of monthly income. Proof of monthly income, that's a kind of a new thing from August 2021. And you need to prove that your monthly income as a couple or family is high enough to cover the ministry standards. We have a calculation. I can share the link in the comments when I finish the live stream. There is a special calculation how you calculate how much you need to be making, but roughly it's 8,000 crowns per two people as some kind of livable minimum, and then the accommodation cost. So if your rent is 20,000, that would be 8 plus 20, so 28 net you need to be making. And how to prove it, that's a different topic, and we'll be happy to help you with that if you go through the process with us. Then Czech health insurance, there is an important difference or important change also from August last year, that in August last year, the ministry split the definition of the family member. Family member, which is close, like the spouses, kids, sometimes parents, they can get the residence permit for up to 5 years, but they need to prove health insurance only for 1 year, let's say. Okay, just to be valid during the approval process. For the close family member, for the distant family member, sorry, the maximum validity of the residence permit is 3 years. And if you want to get it for 3 years, you need to buy health insurance for full 3 years. Otherwise, it will be shortened according to your health insurance. So that's the health insurance. Power of attorney, we've done in Move to Prague, we've done hundreds of cases of the partnership visa. So we usually do it the way that you give us a power of attorney to be able to represent you in front of the ministry during the whole case, and then we deal with everything. So we help you to prepare all the documents to make sure that they are correct, that they are in the form the ministry wants to see them, and that you have the highest chances of approval. But then we also guide you during the whole process, that if the ministry requests some documents, we communicate with the ministry on your behalf. We also recommend you. We accompany you to the ministry to submit the application. If they invite you for an interview, I will talk about it in a second as well. Then we also prepare you for the interview to know what to expect and all things like that. But to be able to do that, we need to have the power of attorney. Administrative fee, that's also a new thing from August 2021. And that's 200 crowns, which surprisingly cannot be paid in money, in cash or card. You need to buy these cute little stamps from the post office called kolky, and you need to pay in these revenue stamps. So you cannot pay by card or anything. Okay, so these were the documents needed for the partnership visa. And before I go to the rest of the questions and give you the answers, let's see the question from Haris Kwakudua. Hi, mate. Thanks for your videos. You're welcome. Thank you for a wonderful video. I have a question. In case I want to use your team to help me translate my certificate from English to Czech, can I just send the scanned copies, or would you have to post the hard copies to you? Okay, that's a bit different question out of the topic, but if you already asked and I read that, we can also help with translations, but then it depends what you need the translations for and how you want to do that. Because for most documents, let's say criminal check, we attach the translation to the original document. So we need to have the original document to be able to attach the translation to it. If you can do it in a different way and you don't want to submit the original, we can do it the way that we just send you the translation and you will attach it to the original document, but it's not really recommended. Usually we do it the way that you send us the original, we get it translated, attach the translation to the original or to a notarized copy of the document and mail it back to you. That depends. Okay, so next question. How long does it take to get the partnership visa approved? Officially 60 days. In our daily practice, we don't really see that too often. That even like the best prepared applications, and even if you're married, which is the simpler option, usually the approval doesn't come in 60 days. Sometimes it comes right around the 60 days. Sometimes, yes, there are cases when it is approved like within 30 days or so, but in most cases it takes way longer, like 3-4 months, 6 months. Also depends on how many extra steps there are, because for example the foreign police will visit you in your apartment, so it depends if they catch you on the first try or not. Then also the ministry can invite you for an interview, so that would also extend the process. So it depends, but officially 60 days. Unofficially, you should expect 3 to 4 months in most cases, but sometimes it can be as long as like 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, doesn't matter. But the thing is that when you apply for it, you are legal here during the whole time, so it actually doesn't really matter how long it takes. You can get a bridging visa. Sorry, you can travel, you can work, so that's fine. Okay, so the next question. What if the foreign police visit during the approval process of the partnership visa about? Yeah, so part of the partnership visa approval process is that a foreign police comes to your apartment and they will check if you live together, if you're a real couple. So it's usually not really like a too long or too complicated visit. They just like look in the apartment. During COVID, they did not even enter the apartment. They just looked like what's here, what's there. If they see women's clothes and men's clothes, if they see pictures of you hanging on the walls, if they see like women's shoes and men's shoes, things like that, they might ask you a couple questions, usually about either about the relationship or about the apartment, like what's behind this door, what color is your kitchen, stuff like that, just to make sure that you really live in the apartment. Usually it's nothing too complicated, nothing longer than 15 minutes usually. Then they make you sign a statement that they were there and then what you told them, and that's usually it. Now, the question about the interview. What questions there? Okay. Anyway, sorry. YouTube, Tomoliu, I hope your channel grows soon. I hope so as well. Thank you very much. I'm doing pretty well on TikTok. So guys, if you are not following me on TikTok, please do. I share a shorter form of these videos. So you can, if you're looking for more condensed content, that's there, and I have a pretty good following there. YouTube is fine. It's fine. It's steadily growing, slowly but steadily. And then Facebook. That's great. I also have 1,000 people in my group there. Expats in CZE help and support group. And Instagram is the only one I just don't understand. I don't know how to deal with that. So, but yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I also hope that it will grow. Then back to Harris. Before we go to the next questions about the partnership visa, I'm using it to apply for a work visa in Czech Republic. Yeah, in that case, I would definitely recommend sending either ask the embassy. They might have some translators that they recommend in the country of your origin, and then the embassy could basically stamp the translation or like connect the translation to the original and make sure that it's legal. But if they cannot do it, then send in the physical documents to us, making a notarized copy here, attaching the official translation to that, and sending it back to you is the safest option, because that's the only way the Czech authorities will accept it. Mohammed, hello, hello Jan, how are you? I'm good, thank you very much, Mohammed. I would like to ask if I have employee card, what is the duration I can stay outside of the Czech Republic? That's also not really connected to the partnership visa. I'll answer it real quick. Officially, there is no rule like that. As long as you're employed, so as long as you keep your job, but you can work from some other place, that should not matter. But generally, we don't recommend staying outside of the Czech Republic longer than half of the time, because in that case, the ministry, when you go extend your employee card, for example, the ministry could say, hey, why do you need an extension if you spend most of the time outside of the Czech Republic anyway? So get a residence permit in that country. So we don't recommend staying longer than half of the validity of the card. officially there is no limit like that as long as you keep the employment. Agnello Andrews, okay, so we're doing questions now. Okay, so Agnello, I will read your question and reply. Jose, I will read your question and reply as well right now, and then we'll go to the rest of the questions about the partnership visa. So Agnello Andrews, after 5 years of visa, how we upgrade it, or what will be the next best step? Do you mean for the partnership visa or general visa? In either case, basically, you can either extend it. For the partnership visa, that would be basically the same process. Again, proving your relationship, all this. For any other type of visa or residence permit, that would be the same as you did before. But then if you reach 5 years of residence in the Czech Republic, then you can apply for a permanent residence permit. And that's the best you can get besides citizenship. Permanent residence permit is a permanent status. It gives you plenty of advantages. You can work as much as you want, or you can be unemployed and even get some support from the government. You can freelance, you can study, you don't have to do anything. You have access to the public health care. It's easier for you to move within the EU, all these things. So definitely the permanent residence would be good way to go. Jose Carlos Moreno, how long do you have to be together to apply for a partnership visa? That's a good question. I don't think I have it here in any of the questions. I already answered or will answer. So generally, again, there is no official rule how long you need to be together, but generally we recommend being together for at least about a year, because the law says that you need to be in a long-term serious relationship similar to a marriage. And like if you've been together for 3 months, it's not really like a long-term stable relationship, so 6 months would be probably the borderline when it even makes sense to apply. But usually I would wait at least until 9 months or 10 months or even after 1 year. There is no official rule like that, but first you need to be in a serious long-term relationship, which 3 months, 6 months still is not, in my opinion, and most likely in the ministry opinion as well. And second, you need to submit plenty of documents proving the relationship. And if you've been together for 3 months, like how many documents can you have? Okay, million photos in this time, yes. But then like maybe 2 trips somewhere, 3 trips, 1 cinema ticket, or, so also you would be making the case weaker if you apply too soon. Okay, so now let's go through the next questions. And actually this one will be also pretty interesting, I guess, for you, because that's what questions they ask during the approval process of the partnership visa. My brain is already tired, and it's Monday only. So what questions they ask during the partnership visa interview? Basically, if they invite you for an interview, it means that they kind of don't believe that the relationship is real, or that the documents you submitted were not convincing enough. So they will ask you questions primarily with the purpose of finding out if you're a real couple. So I will not go deep into the questions, but we have a list of the topics and the questions they ask. Slightly varies for every case, but we have like collected all the questions they've ever asked from our clients, and they always have similar topics. So we have that available in our Move to Prague office. So if you go through us and you need to go through the interview, we'll be happy to prepare you for that as a part of the service. But at least to give you some idea. So first set of questions will be about like your status here. So that can be either simple or complicated depending on the status of yours. Because generally, if everything is fine, they will just ask you and your partner, okay, what type of visa is he or she on right now? And then you should know and what they had before. So you should know what kind of visas you had and how you changed that or extended or all this. In some cases, if it's complicated, if your situation is complicated, you came here as a student, then you switched to something else, then you changed schools, then you found a job, then you changed the job, then you changed accommodation, you didn't report it. Things like that. They can ask you about that as well. And they might try to catch you on some of these to kind of prove that you are misusing the visa. So, for example, what happened many times actually was that someone enrolled into some Czech classes or some like strange university or strange college, and the college stopped existing after 2 months in the school. And so you basically stopped going into the school, but you still kept your visa. And in that case, the ministry can say, hey, you should have reported this, or you should have changed schools. And since you just stayed without reporting it, then you are just misusing the visa, and they can use it against you. So they might ask questions about this part of your status as well. And then if all this is good, then they will focus on the relationship itself. So they will ask you about the basic questions about each other. They obviously question you separately. So first one goes, and second the other goes, and they always question you separately, and they kind of cross-reference the question. So they would ask her about his parents, what are their names, when they last saw each other, how they met, all this. They would ask him about her parents, what are their names, where they live, when did they meet the last time. And then they would compare the answers, and they would want to see if it's true and if you really know the parents, all this. They would ask questions about the relationship similar to this. So what's the color of your kitchen, and what did you have for breakfast this morning, stuff like that. Yeah, and that's usually it. Like it's these two things can happen there. At first they would be asking you about your status or some maybe problematic part. If there is some problem with some of the documents, like proof of accommodation or your previous visas, then they would focus on that in the beginning, and then they would focus on the relationship. Usually the interview is around like 45 minutes. So it's pretty long, and there are many questions. So if you're interested in those, hire our services, and we'll be happy to help you with them. Okay, next question. Jose Carlos Moreno, thanks. Thank you very much. My pleasure. How long can be the partnership visa granted for? There are two types of the partnership visa or of the temporary residence permit for family members of EU citizens. One is for close family members, and one is for distant family members. The one for close family members can be given for up to 5 years. And the close family members are spouses, kids, and in some cases, parents. The distant family member is the partners, where you just date each other, and the maximum validity there is 3 years, but it can be shortened if you submit a shorter health insurance. So the maximum is 3 years, but can be shorter depending on the insurance you submit. Okay, last question. Can you help us with the partnership visa? Of course, as I mentioned in the previous questions, we've done around like a couple hundred cases, and I believe we only had like maybe 2 or 3 denials. So we have a pretty good score there. So if you wish, and if you're in the situation that you're thinking about applying for the partnership visa, or you want to do it already, and you just need some assistance, we'll be happy to help. We can either provide a consultation where we just like meet with you for 45 to 60 minutes and we discuss your case and like give you some tips and check your documents, or we can help you with the whole process where you basically make sure that you have everything ready in the form and in the way the ministry wants to see it. We book the appointment for you at the ministry. We accompany you there, make sure that you get the bridge visa. Then we, if it's possible, then we like basically are at your disposal during the whole process. And if they invite you for the interview, we'll prepare you for the questions and what to expect there and all this. So definitely you can help, or you can opt in for our help, and you can use our services to help you with the partnership visa. Okay, Jose Moreno, and what are the differences between partnership visa and marriage? Okay, so basically when I talk about partnership visa, I mean kind of it's now a strange time, because in the past there was only one type of residence permit for family members of EU citizens. So either if you were married, or you were a kid, or a parent, or if you were just dating, all these were on the same level. So there was just one partnership visa. Now there are, as mentioned, there are the two two definitions, like a close family member and distant family member, and there are different. There are many differences. First, as mentioned, the close family member, meaning that you're married, can be given for up to 5 years. If you're not married, then up to 3 years. If you're married, you don't need to prove your finances and you only can buy health insurance for 1 year. If you're the distant family member, you can the maximum validity of the partnership visa or the residence permit is 3 years, but it can be shortened based on the insurance you pay. And you need to prove your monthly income that it's high enough and it's sufficient for the application. Besides that, you still have the same rights. Basically, you can find an employment and you can start working right after you submit the application. If the ministry believes that you are a real couple, if you have enough proofs, they can give you a bridging visa, which will allow you to stay in the Czech Republic during the whole approval process. You can travel with this bridging visa. So the advantages are mostly the same. The only main disadvantage or advantage maybe of the married couples is that you can apply for a permanent residence permit after 2 years of being in the Czech Republic, if at least 1 year out of that you've been a family member of an EU citizen. So if you come here as a student, let's say you study for 1 year, then you marry an EU citizen, then after 1 more year, you can actually apply for permanent residency instead of after 5 years or 10 years in case of students. So it can actually save you a lot of time, but that only applies now to the close family members. Lekor Erbaf. Hello, sir. If you are a student visa, then you stop. Is it possible to shift to student visa to working visa if someone like employer willing to employ you? Thank you. Yeah, of course. If you're in the Czech Republic legally and you find like under some other type of visa, like the student visa or family reunification visa, business visa or whatever, and then you find employment and your employer is willing to help you with the process and employ you and support you in the process, then you can change it. You can apply for the employee card at the Ministry of the Interior in the Czech Republic, and you can switch from whatever you have to the employee card. That's possible. Oh, okay. So that's been 32 minutes of me talking about the partnership visa. So, guys, thank you very much for being here and watching me and asking questions and reacting. That's really great. So, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask now or stay silent forever. Because if you have no more questions, I will slowly go. I will share all the links related to this in the comments, either on Facebook under this post or on YouTube in the comment section, and or maybe in the description of the video. I don't know yet, but it will be there. So, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch, and we'll be happy to answer or arrange a consultation with you or help you with the whole process. And if you don't follow me on TikTok, if you don't follow me on Instagram, if you're not my patron on Patreon, please join me there. Because, for example, on Patreon, I share specific content only for patrons. And I also do Q&As only for patrons once a month. So once a month, you can come to have a basically consultation with me for free. And I will be happy to answer any of your questions. So join my Patreon as well if you're not a member yet. Okay, guys, it doesn't seem that you have any more questions. So thank you very much and see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.